Good afternoon. I wanted to definitely get back to making my videos. Well, afternoon here on the East Coast in the US. Um, to making some videos. And today, what has really been on my heart to talk about was the fact that how some women think they are quote unquote difficult. And I want you to understand that maybe there's some things you have to let go of, some things you have to unlearn, some soul ties you have to cut, whether it's to past relationships, to your meaning not just intimate relationship, but your relationship with your mother, your relationship with your father, because all of those relationships can affect your personal relationships you try and have later. So, but for some women who are just strong willed, let's say, and outspoken, you're not difficult. And don't let any man tell you that you are. Because before, to me, a guy had a nerve to say that I am too much and I should just let a man be a man. Now, first of all, I'm too much for a man. I don't even want to be cliche and say who can't handle me. I'm only too much if you're lazy or if you're not willing to break through some things and fight through some things, because people don't understand fighting is a part of relationships, not physical once it gets to that, but arguing is necessary. Disagreements are necessary, they are common, and any good therapist will tell you it's how quick you get over it that matters. Like me and my boyfriend currently, he tries to argue more. He says he doesn't, but it becomes more than just a disagreement, and I don't want to always go back and forth. And he doesn't understand that arguing is does not have a negative connotation to me. It's just I don't feel like the back and forth of a conversation. So that's what I mean when I tell him I'm not in the mood for arguing, blah blah blah. Because yeah, we constantly riff and tiff at each other um, a lot. So, and I'm sorry if my eyes are low. My allergies are really bad today. It's ridiculous. But anyway, so yeah, arguing is not a bad thing. It's necessary. It means that you are open and honest enough with yourself and the person that you're in a relationship with, to the point where you're able to express yourself wholly, and and they respect your opinion but also have their own opinion. That's all arguing is. Because a lot of times I feel like if you don't argue, then somebody's not being honest. Somebody's hiding something. Both parties aren't being truthful. Excuse me. Both parties aren't being truthful, and there's something hidden which is necessary. Which is necessary to talk about, because if you're hiding something, and I'm not saying oh, a little something, you want to keep something to yourself, because I also believe in relationships that if you want them to have longevity, each person has to have something for themselves that the other is not involved in. Especially when you live together, because we live together and we see each other literally every day and go through the everyday, which can feel mundane, but as long as you have your stuff and he has his stuff, or she, or he, whatever relationship, as long as the other person has their stuff and you have your stuff, then it will help it will help you maintain your you-ness. That's what I like to say. And not lose yourself in a relationship, which I think is very important for people. I mean, especially women, because they tend to be so enveloped in a situation that they become something that they feel as though like that they need to be. And I mean, I just don't feel that way about it. But back to difficult, the word difficult. Um, I believe some women emotionally hold back and or have gone through so much that they slow up to open themselves up in said relationships and therefore are then deemed difficult. I have a close friend. She's super independent. She's been that way for a long time. She has a kid, a child. Kid is a baby goat. She has a child and owned a house early. And she's a great person. She's a great person to know. She's very strong willed and open minded about a lot of things. But, I mean, some people probably would consider her strong will difficult. And it's just crazy to me how women get these labels. And I'm not even just talking black women, but how women period, like we get these labels and then we just become it or we make it so in ourselves, like in the everyday and what we do. And that's really not necessary because, I mean, we're just being us and it is our past experience that have created the personality of the person who is now. And that also doesn't mean that the person can't change. Like, everybody's changeable, everybody's malleable, not moldable, but malleable. They can be moved to do things, they can be reconstructed, they can, if they deem the relationship worth it, then they can and will be willing to change. So that's one thing I wanted to talk about. Like, being seen as difficult is like the craziest thing um, I've ever heard. And like when it was said to me, I just really laughed at it. And a little after that, like I'm offended by it. Like, how dare you? And this was before like 2010. So it wasn't even when, because I don't know, for some reason in our current society, and yes, I'm a part of it, we all are, we create the society that we like to say as if it's distant from us. But in society today, like a lot of men have become effeminate and a lot of women more masculine. Now, those are just traits. It's not saying that like women necessarily want to be men. That's something different. Or men necessarily want to be women. It's just that the traits, it seems, have switched dynamic. And I found that very interesting. But yeah, so before that was even popular, I mean, this thing was said to me, and I was a little, I'm not gonna lie, like a little taken back by it. So in that, I guess I need to turn off the sounds. But in that, um, yeah, no, I didn't. I didn't take it too personally because I'm like, clearly this is a you situation and you have a problem with strong-willed women. So therefore, I understand that whatever it is between me and you will not have any longevity. I mean, it wasn't going to have longevity to begin with because a lot of times, like, they want to always say, oh, like, people believe like the women catch more feelings. Like, no, it wasn't even a relationship to begin with. It was a situationship, and the situation was what it was, and he was trying to turn it into a relationship by pointing out everything that he felt as though was wrong with me, which also wasn't fair. And I wouldn't even argue about it. I just like what do you call it? Like dismiss it or like agree to disagree about it because like no, And at that time, I was in college too, so like I didn't even have time for relationships to begin with because I worked 32-hour weeks, and then I went to school 21 credits a semester. Like, you do the math. Didn't have time. So, so yeah, but I wanna let women know, like, no, you're not you're not difficult. You're just too much for that person because they either aren't secure in themselves or don't know themselves enough or don't feel confident enough to be with someone like you. And that's just where it stands, because I get so sick and tired of these labels that are placed on women negatively, as if there is no one out there for them, or makes them believe like, oh, there's no man out for there for them. Because I'll be the first to admit, like, I'm as difficult as they come. I don't want to talk about shit. um I don't always want to share my stuff. I want to handle everything by myself. And I think now, like, uh my boyfriend has learned, like, he gives me the space now to go through it, and then understands when I'm ready to talk about it, I will then present it to have the conversation about whatever it is that I'm going through. So, yeah, I mean, some things, it just takes time. I mean, it's so crazy to me how how women feel about their future or future relationships without even considering, like, themselves in the situation. It's just like, oh, he better have this, he better have that. And if he doesn't have this, then I can't do this. And if he doesn't have that, like, any man presented to you, it's your choice whether you are going to further a situation or not. It's your choice whether you want to build a foundation or not. Because now this is me also, talking to women, because everything, I don't think people understand, is your choice. So if you meet someone, who doesn't necessarily meet your criteria, it's up to you. Are you willing to, I hated to say it that way, but, like, are you willing to put in the work to get them there because it is something in their past life or in their life that hindered them? Or are you just willing to give them a chance to get there themselves? Because sometimes people just didn't have the space and the opportunity and the freedom to be who they wanted to be in their childhood home or in their house situation, period. So now that they have it, as we're older, they're trying to get themselves to a certain place of their comfort, of their happiness, of their, I forget the C word I'm looking for, but it's a synonym of comfort. Like, they're trying to get to that place where they can thrive, actually, too. Because it's not, I mean, initially it's comfort, but nobody just wants to live, to work, and pay bills. Like, people want to thrive. They want to feel as though that they're doing something for a purpose, and that's what's necessary about work. Unfortunately, a lot of times the immediate job that we have is to pay bills, but work, period, is necessary in a society for people to feel like they have accomplished something, to feel like they are something in the work that they do. And if you get paid for something that you love to do, it won't even feel like work. Um, I just saw a quote the other day. It said, it was talking about the importance of play, and I wish I had it in front of me. It was talking about the importance of play, and basically, if you get to play for work, and how I previously said that it won't feel like work. So, with all of that, I just want people to understand. I want people to communicate better. That's what I believe is the number one issue in a lot of relationships. And I want people to let go of their criteria. I want them to let go of what happened to them in the past, because when the person comes to you that I believe is for you, then nobody comes to you 100%. It's necessary. I mean, I'm 31, so yes, in our age group, it is necessary for you to have maintained a job. It's okay if you switch job. It's okay if you're in between jobs, because a lot of men, I've also learned, if they are not at the point in life that they want to be, they will not invite a woman into themselves, into their life. So a lot of times it seems like, oh, there's no good men. No, that's not true. The good men um, that are coming are basically like preparing themselves to present themselves to you, because believe it or not, I mean, it goes back to the basic understanding of society. A man has to gather and have means of living before finding a female to share it all with. So I just want the females in my age group like not to lose hope or lose sight of the fact that it will and can happen, but you also have to live your life too, and you also don't come at 100%. So whether it's your emotional maturity, whether it's your communication skills, whether it is you letting go of that list, because a lot of women find it important to have this criteria, this list, and to make sure you check off certain things before they even get a chance to know you. So I think that's really important to know. And it's just a matter of situation. Every relationship starts out as a situation, and it's whether you want to further the situation, whether you want to invest in the situation, whether you want to give it that time, the effort, the means. And I'm not just talking about money, because dates are dates. And to me, any real man, if it's the first date, they will pay. If the woman feels comfortable splitting it, and the woman is okay with it, then I don't see a problem in there either. And my doorbell's probably about to ring. I hear the mail person. Um, I don't see anything wrong with that either. It is, you have to determine the relationship for you. There are certain women that will never pay for, and that will never feel as though they have to pay for anything, or especially if they cohabitate. Me and my boyfriend cohabitate, and there are certain people who feel as though like the man should cover the rent and all the other house bills and this and that. But it really comes down to whatever works for you. That's why communication is key to all relationships. And it's not laying all your cards out there at once. It's leaving those back and forth, the give and take communication lines open, because it should never be just one person talking on a date, or one person just listening. It should be a conversation. You should be sharing. Should be. I shouldn't say should be, but you most likely are sharing parts of yourself. They're sharing parts of themselves. I don't think it's important to talk about exes, unless you're getting into what you want to let go or what you need to let go. And I think people have to understand also that a lot of these things take time, and it doesn't matter how long ago a relationship was or how long ago a situation was. Sometimes people do hold on to things for too long, but it takes something new or something different to show them that there is better out there, there is an improvement out there, or it doesn't even have to be better, but there are alternative choices. There are choices. There are a variety of men out there, and all men ain't shit is the wrong mindset to have, because you're already putting that out there. It's shifting your energy. It's changing your energy about the situation. So now the man you bring towards yourself probably won't be. But I just wanted to start this. I mean, it's not a series. I just want to start. I had this um, in my head to get out, and that's what I wanted to talk about today. Women, you are not difficult. Men are not shit. It's just everybody needs to be open minded about a situation and also not rush into anything because things do take time. Foundation building takes time. And if you do rush, then understand that everything will be sped up. I mean, me and my boyfriend lived together within our first year of even knowing each other. The first year was definitely the hardest, but all growing pains are. And I mean, we were mid 20s at the time, kind of late 20s. So it's like, it's about to be 4 years later. We are, um, you know, we've lived together, we've grown together, we've developed things together. We keep the communication open. I'm getting better with talking to him, and things get better in the future. It just takes time. In that first or second year, to be in this third year, which I call the coaxing, like we're coasting year, um, I would I would have never seen it. Like it just doesn't happen that way. A lot of things are a process, and I think people need to understand that. And patience, I feel, is a forever life lesson, especially for someone like me. So to say that you have to have patience is the understatement of the year, because you should understand that things take time and you should want to build each part of your relationship before you necessarily dive into a label or dive into expectations, because that can also hurt you too, the expectations of which something should be, because that's not always how it is, and how you whatever you're used to has worked for you, but it also hasn't, because those situations would have lasted longer than they have if that makes any sense to you. And I just want to leave with this point about exes and going back um, to exes because of comfort and stuff like that. A lot of times, my theory on that over time has become that if the reason that you go back to an ex and it doesn't work out, to me, just by like universe and energy and everything, is because when you are with that person, you have to think about you were on track to becoming a certain way. You were developing yourself a certain way. You were connecting with them a certain way. And you were forwarding yourself to becoming a certain person. Once that relationship broke and you split up, no matter the time frame, I mean, well, unless it's in the first month or two of the breakup, but if you let so much time go past, especially years, and then you try and reconnect with that person, a lot of times, that it doesn't work is because you are no longer becoming the person you would have had you stayed with them. So I don't want it to be too much, but so basically, you split up, so that puts you on another track. You took the lesson from it. You learned something from the situation. It was a reason that you ended the relationship with that person, or they even ended it with you. But now you took the time, hopefully for yourself, to learn something, to understand something, to get yourself over it and back to a state of living. And now that you're on this new track, sometimes you can't go back because you're no longer the person that you were going to become while you are with them. So that's what I want to end on today. And if you watched through the whole thing, I really appreciate it. I am going to start posting more I want to. Maybe I will write along with the video post that I have. So anything that you want me to talk about, that you want to hear, that you want to see, feel free to leave a comment down below and let me know how you felt about this video. Thank you.